Today on TimesCast, tens of thousands gather in Tahrir Square. And President Obama begins a 3-day trip that includes many election battleground states. On the first anniversary of the Egyptian Revolution, the military council's hold on power continues to dominate and divide the country's political factions.
It's a little bit like a wedding and a funeral in the same hall. The wedding is here in Tahrir Square, where the Muslim Brotherhood and other Islamists really have dominated the square.
يعني you can say 80% of the attendance here is Muslim Brotherhood.
Against that, there are a variety of marches taking shape around the city, led by a more secularist group of young activists determined to call for the immediate ouster of interim military rulers.
1 year has passed since the revolution. Some stuff have changed, but a lot has not changed yet, and we're here to say that we still need more change.
The Muslim Brotherhood and other Islamists began setting up as early as last night, building sound stages, erecting security barriers, locking arms around the outside to check people's ID and search them as they come in. It's not clear yet how the two groups are going to mix. The early betting is that the Brotherhood, organized, disciplined, and committed to make this day a happy occasion, is likely to prevail in keeping the peace.
We have no time to make any violence. The past era is finished, so we need to build our country.
And President Obama begins a 3-day tour stressing his message of economic equality.
Straight off of his State of the Union address, President Obama is setting off on the campaign trail. It's what his campaign in Chicago calls the Western Route. We're talking about Iowa, Nevada, Arizona, Colorado. These are states that he feels he needs to get if he is going to win back the presidency. Now, he's going to be using the themes that he hit in the State of the Union address, and he's going to be using them hard. This sense of shared sacrifice and shared responsibility.
We can either settle for a country where a shrinking number of people do really well, while a growing number of Americans barely get by. Or we can restore an economy where everyone gets a fair shot, and everyone does their fair share, and everyone plays by the same set of rules.
This has a dual purpose. He can talk about his legislative agenda, this idea that he would create a Buffett rule, whereas people earning more than $1 million should pay 30% of their income at least in taxes. But he'll also be hitting Mitt Romney. He probably won't use Mitt Romney's name, but with Mitt Romney's tax returns now out there, we all know that Mitt Romney earned tens of millions of dollars and pays 15% or less on his taxes. President Obama has been talking about a lot of these issues for a while, some of which he's actually done. His proposal trying to ease refinancing of mortgages to get people who are struggling with their mortgage into a much, much lower rate and take advantage of historic lows on 30-year mortgages, that's a plan that he has tried and tried and tried. I think this is his third bite at the apple. And some of the proposals that he made, especially on the corporate taxes last night, have been part of his agenda since 2008. They have been in every single budget he has submitted to the Congress, and none of them have gotten through.
What's at stake aren't democratic values or Republican values, but American values.
The mission that President Obama has in this Midwestern to Western swing isn't so much to lay out a legislative agenda. It's to convince voters who are struggling with their own economic circumstances that President Obama is on their side, and that if they can give him another 4 years in the White House, he can finally turn these things around.